Form P85 is a critical tax form you need to complete if you're planning to leave the UK permanently or for an extended period of time. This form could help you claim back overpaid tax from HMRC if you don't complete self-assessment. Don't leave your money behind. If you miss this step, you could miss hundreds, if not thousands of pounds. And so in this video, I'll be walking you through how to complete Form P85 line by line. What Form P85 is, who needs to complete Form P85, some mistakes that you need to avoid, and finally, the processing time after submitting the form to HMRC. If this is your first time here, my name is Amma, a chartered accountant and a tax professional from AB & Co Accounting and Tax Services. Let's get started. So what is Form P85? This is a form that you complete and submit to HMRC if you are leaving the UK. It tells HMRC that you're leaving the UK and you want to be up to date with your tax. It also tells HMRC that you're leaving the UK for overseas work. This form also informs HMRC if you are due any tax refund in the year that you are leaving. Form P85 is only completed by an individual who doesn't complete self-assessment. If you complete self-assessment and you're leaving the UK, you can tell HMRC through self-assessment. So who should be completing Form P85? Individuals who are going abroad for work purposes need to complete this form. If you're leaving the UK permanently, you also need to complete Form P85. And if you're planning on retiring overseas and you're leaving the UK for that purpose, you need to also complete Form P85. So these are individuals who need to inform HMRC that they are leaving the UK for these purposes. If you are only coming to the UK for a short holiday and leaving immediately after that, you don't need to complete Form P85. Now that you've understood what Form P85 is and who needs to complete Form P85, let's jump on the steps required to complete this form step by step. Please don't skip any part because there are important steps that you need to take to ensure you get your tax refund back if you're due one. There are two ways of completing this form. The first one is using the HMRC's online facility. Complete it online and send it to them. You will need a government gateway account. If you don't have one, there is no problem. You can still create a government gateway account, use it to complete it and submit it to HMRC. The second method is go online and complete this form on screen. Once completed, print them out and post them to HMRC. That is the second method. This is the method I'm going to use to go through for you to understand. So stay with me. Please don't skip any part as you will miss very important information. So these are the steps required to complete Form P85 accurately and correctly. Go to Google and enter in the search box, complete Form P85. The first on the list that comes after the search is get your income tax right if you live in the UK. Click on that. As previously said, you can either complete this online by using a government gateway account. And so if you want to use the online facility, all you need to do is click on Claim Online here. Once you click on Claim Online, you will need to enter your government gateway details in these boxes. If you don't have any government gateway account, all you need to do is create sign-in details. Click on that and then create a new sign-in details for yourself. As I said, we will be completing the paper version online and print it afterwards and post it to HMRC for this demonstration purposes. And so if you want to claim by post, all you need to do is click on Fill in Form P85 for postal claims. And I'm going to click on that. The first thing is to enter your name. We're going to use dummy details and I'm going to use HMRC's details for this demonstration purposes. Enter your address. I'm going to use HMRC's address here. What is your phone number? Again, I'm going to use HMRC's phone number. What is your date of birth? I'm going to put a dummy date of birth in here. Do you have a national insurance number? Your answer should be yes if you are an employee. But for this demonstration purpose, I'm going to put no so that we can progress to the next step. But you should be entering yes because you are an employee and I'm sure you have a national insurance number. Enter your nationality here. Have you already left the UK? For ease, it's better to complete it right before you leave the UK or immediately after you have left the UK. So the choice is yours here. There is no right or wrong answer here. I'm going to say no here. When are you leaving the UK? I'm going to enter any date in here. How long will you have lived in the UK before 9th of May 2025? So from the date you arrived in the UK to the date you leave the UK, how many years or how many months would that be? You have to enter this here. I'm going to enter 10, meaning 10 years. Will you have been a UK resident from 6th of April 2025 to 9th of May 2025? So from 6th of April to the date you have entered that you're planning to leave, will you have been a UK resident? This is a critical question and this is where a professional is needed. If you know that you are a resident for UK, you have to select yes. But if you know that you are not resident, from 6th of April 2025 to 9th of May 2025, enter no. Seek professional advice here. Resident status in the UK can be complex, and so don't assume this answer. So I'm going to select yes here. Have you been a UK resident from 6th of April 24 to 5th of April 25, which is the past tax year? If you have been, the same way, select yes. I'm going to select yes. How many days do you expect to spend in the UK from 9th of May 2025 to the tax year end? After you have left the UK, if you're planning to return to the UK to spend some days here, you need to enter these here. But remember, if you want to avoid being classed as a UK resident, you need to consider this carefully with a professional. I'm going to enter 10. How many days do you expect to spend in the UK from 6th of April 2026 to 5th of April 2027? So for the next tax year, do you plan to visit the UK? If you plan to visit the UK, again, you have to enter the number of days here. Again, if you're leaving the UK and you don't want to pay any UK tax on your overseas income or gain, this question is critical that you need to seek a professional advice on. If you become a resident because of your visit in the UK, your overseas income may be taxed in the UK. Seek a professional advice here. We are here to help you. I'm going to enter 10 days. The same thing applies for the following and the next tax year. I'm going to enter 10. How many days do you expect to spend in the UK from 6th of April 2028 to 5th of April 2029? They are very important questions that you need to seek professional advice on. Because if you have UK-based income, such as interest, such as dividends, if you leave the UK and become a non-UK resident, these income are classed as disregarded income. And so as long as those are your only income in the UK, you don't pay any UK tax on them. But if you return to become a UK resident within 5 years, those become taxable. And so answering these questions are very important here. I'm going to enter 10. Which country are you going to? I'm going to use Spain. What is your full address in that country? So I'm going to again enter a dummy address in here. Will you, your spouse or civil partner have a home in the UK while you are abroad? If this is a yes or no, enter it. Again, this is considering your residence status in the UK. So seek a professional advice. I'm going to say no. Will you be working full-time outside the UK? This question is checking what you are leaving the UK for. So if you're moving from UK for full-time employment overseas, select yes here. I'm going to select yes. Will you continue to have your salary paid from the UK? You select yes or no. I'm going to select no. So you check all the information you have entered into the system and ensure they are all correct before continuing. Will you get any income from the UK after you leave? If you have income such as property earnings you get from UK work, any UK-based income, you have to select yes. That will have its own tax implications. But if you don't, select no. I'm going to select no. Will you be working when you leave the UK? The answer is yes. Continue. Check your answers again that they are correct before proceeding. Do you work for UK government as a Crown servant or in a Crown employment? If this is yes, you select yes. If it is no, you select no. So I'm going to select no and continue. What job will you do when you are abroad? You need to enter the role. I'm going to enter a driver here as a dummy answer. When will you start your job abroad? Because I entered, I'm going to leave the UK on the 9th. I'm going to enter 10th. You need to be very accurate and honest here. How many hours each week will you work in your job abroad? If you're working full-time, you have to enter the hours. If you're working part-time, enter the hours. I'm going to enter 37 hours. What is your employer's name? Again, I'm going to put any name at all. What is your employer's address? I'm going to use a dummy address again. How will your employment income be paid? If your employer is going to pay you into your UK bank account, indicate it here. Otherwise, however is going to be paid, whether it's going to be paid by a UK employer through a UK payroll, enter it here. By an office or agent in the UK, enter it here, or other. Will you perform any employment duties in the UK So if it's yes, you indicate. If it's no, you indicate. I'm going to indicate no. How many days do you expect to spend in the UK from 10th of May to 5th of April 2026? Enter. I'm going to enter 10. Check your answers again and proceed. Are you claiming repay? You always have to select yes if you are sure that you have overpaid tax. And again, this form is also checking if you are due any tax refund. So if you indicate yes here, there is no harm at all. So indicate yes here. If you are not due any refund, HMRC will not send you anything. So it's fine to say yes. And again, with the refund issue, as long as you have paid the right amount of tax by the date that you are leaving the UK, don't expect a refund. Who will you like the check payment to be made to? This is very important. Get the right address, indicate it here. Whether you want it to be paid to yourself, to an agent, or to another person, indicate it here. Make the check payment payable to me, or I authorize the check to be paid to my nominee. Your nominee can be your tax advisor, a family member, or someone you trust. And so I'm going to say, make the check payable to me. Are you acting as an agent? Because it's me, I'm going to say no, because I'm not the agent. If your agent is acting as an agent for you and you selected make the check payable to a nominee, you have to select yes here. Continue. What address do you want the check to be sent to? Again, I'm going to use HMRC's address for this demonstration. You again check your answers and proceed. Do you have part 2 and 3 of your P45? You always have to select yes here. You need to add this to the form before sending it to HMRC. Otherwise, your form may be rejected by them. And you sign a declaration. I accept and continue. So the form is now completed. What you need to do, you need to preview the form, which is here. Everything that you've indicated will be here. And then when you get to the bottom, you save and print the form to HMRC. This is the end of the demonstration. It's important to complete it accurately accurately to get your tax refund quickly. There are various common mistakes to avoid when completing Form P85. The first one is leaving some income that you have received out on the form. When you do that, HMRC will not know whether you are due a refund or not because they don't have your complete and overall income to assess your position. The second one is not attaching your P45. When you leave the employment, your employer will give you P45. You need to attach this before posting the form to HMRC. If you don't attach it, your form may be rejected by HMRC. The third mistake is not indicating a correct address that HMRC could use to post your check to if you are due a refund. The final mistake to avoid is using old versions of Form P85. If you complete this form, HMRC will reject. These are some of the mistakes that you need to avoid when completing this form. The next thing you need to be aware of is HMRC's processing time after submitting the form to them. This will depend entirely on their workload. However, they have a tool that you can use to check this yourself, and this tool is here, and I'll link it up also in the description. Use it to check the progress of the submitted form from HMRC. If you have found any value so far, please send us a signal by hitting the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. As always, all our content is for educational purposes only and not in any way any form of advice. And so for personal tailored advice, please contact us or speak to your tax advisor. If you need help with the form, please comment below or contact us. As always, we know how important your assets are to you. We know how important your UK pension is to you. We know how important your ISAs are to you. And so we have prepared these two videos for you to watch next. I hope you have found this video useful. Thank you for watching.